American muscle cars were supposed to be the fastest. But then Australia built sedans that outran their coupes. V8s were supposed to rule until a six-cylinder beat them at their own game. But what about the muscle car game? Well, the Aussies won there as well. These are the Aussie muscle cars that made Americans scared. Number 8. 1971. Ford XY Falcon GTHO Phase 3. If there's one Aussie muscle car that shook the world, it's the 1971 Ford XY Falcon GTHO Phase 3. This wasn't just Australia's fastest production car at the time, but it was the fastest four-door sedan in the world. Under the bonnet, Ford packed a 5.8-litre Cleveland V8, producing an underrated 224 kilowatt. But in reality, dyno tests suggested it was pushing well over 280 kilowatt. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, the Phase 3 could rocket from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 6.5 seconds and hit top speed of over 230 kilometers per hour. This beast was built for dominance at Bathurst, and it delivered. It absolutely obliterated the competition, securing its place in Aussie muscle car history. The Phase 3 was so fast that American magazines were stunned by its performance, calling it too powerful for a family sedan. Today, it's one of the most valuable Australian cars ever, with some selling for over $1 million Australian dollars. Not bad for a Falcon. Ford had the Phase 3, but Holden wasn't about to let them take all the glory. Enter the Monaro, a muscle coupe so powerful it could shake up American V8s. The Chevrolet Camaro was built to dominate the streets, but what if I told you its Aussie cousin was lighter, faster, and just as powerful? Number 7. 1969 Holden HT Monaro GTS 350. So when Holden released the HT Monaro GTS 350, it was a direct challenge to American muscle coupes like the Camaro and Mustang. And guess what? It could hold its own. Under the bonnet sat a 5.7-litre Chevrolet V8, producing 224 kilowatt. That power, combined with a lightweight coupe body and a 4-speed manual transmission, allowed it to sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 6.8 seconds. What made the Monaro truly terrifying for American manufacturers was its racing pedigree. It dominated at Mount Panorama, proving that Aussie muscle wasn't just about straight-line speed, it could handle corners too. The Monaro's aggressive styling, brutal power, and race-winning DNA made it a legend. Even today, the HT Monaro is one of the most sought-after Australian muscle cars, often fetching over $200,000 at auctions. Holden had its coupe, but what happens when you take that power and stuff it into a four-door sedan? That's exactly what happened next with the fearsome Valiant Charger RTE 49. Number 6. 1972 Chrysler Valiant Charger RTE 49. By the early 70s, Ford and Holden had their V8-powered beasts, but Chrysler took a different approach. They built a 6-cylinder muscle car so fast that it could outrun some V8s. Enter the 1972 Charger, a car that proved raw power wasn't just about displacement. Instead of a massive V8, the E49 was powered by a 4.3-litre inline-6 fitted with triple Weber carburetors, pushing out 225 kilowatt. That might not sound like much compared to some V8s, but this was a lightweight coupe with razor-sharp handling. It could sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 6.1 seconds, which was faster than many American muscle cars at the time. The Charger E49 was designed for Bathurst domination, and it delivered what it was made for. American automakers were stunned. How could a 6-cylinder car be outrunning big block V8s? Chrysler Australia had built something special, and it became one of the fastest production 6-cylinder cars in the world. Today, the Charger is a holy grail of Aussie muscle, often selling for over 300,000 Australian dollars. Chrysler proved that a 6-cylinder could be lightning fast, but Holden wasn't about to let them steal the spotlight. Their next move? The brutal, track-ready Torana A9X. Number 5. 1977 Holden Tirana A9X. Holden took muscle car madness to the next level in 1977 with the Tirana, a lightweight rocket built for racing dominance. This wasn't just an upgraded Tirana, it was a Bathurst-winning monster that could humiliate American muscle cars on the track. Under the bonnet sat a 5-litre Holden V8, making around 186 kilowatt, but those numbers didn't tell the whole story. The A9X was lightweight, incredibly well-balanced, and featured racing-derived suspension and brakes. The real magic happened on the racetrack. The A9X dominated at Bathurst, with Peter Brock setting a record-breaking 6-lap lead in the 1979 Bathurst 1000, one of the most dominant performances in motorsport history. With only 500 road-going A9Xs ever built, it has become one of Australia's most valuable muscle cars, fetching over 500,000 Australian dollars at auction. If you thought the A9X was crazy, wait until you hear about Ford's response. The Falcon XC Cobra looked like it belonged in a Mad Max movie, and it had the performance to back it up. Number 4. 1978 Ford Falcon XC Cobra. With its bold blue racing stripes and aggressive bodywork, the 1978 Ford Falcon XC Cobra looked like it was ready to take on anything. And it was. Powered by a 5.8-litre Cleveland V8, the XC Cobra packed two 16-kilowatt, making it a seriously fast road car for the time. It could hit 100 kilometres in just 6.8 seconds, which was on par with American muscle cars like the Pontiac Firebird and Dodge Challenger. What made the XC Cobra special wasn't just its speed, it was its limited production and racing heritage. Ford only built 400 units, making it one of the most exclusive muscle cars in Australian history. Today, the XC Cobra is a collector's dream, often selling for over 300,000 Australian dollars. Ford's Falcon XC Cobra had the looks, but what if you wanted brute force and modern technology? That's exactly what Holden delivered with the monstrous HSV GTSR. Number 3. 1996 HSV GTSR. By the mid-90s, American muscle cars had mellowed out, but in Australia, Holden's special vehicles cranked the madness back up. Their answer? The 1996 HSV GTSR, a muscle car that looked as loud as it sounded. Painted in blinding yellow, the GTSR packed a 5.7-litre Holden V8, pushing out 230 kilowatt, making it one of the most powerful Aussie muscle cars of the decade. It wasn't just about straight-line speed though. HSV tuned this beast for handling, equipping it with a 6-speed manual transmission, race-spec suspension, and upgraded brakes. It could hit 100 kilometers per hour in 5.9 seconds, which put it in the same league as some of America's top muscle cars at the time. Only 85 units were built, making it one of the rarest Aussie muscle cars ever. The GTSR brought muscle car madness into the 90s, but what if you wanted even more power? That's exactly what Ford delivered with the insane FPV-GTP. Number 2. 2003 FPV-GTP. By the early 2000s, Aussie muscle cars were evolving. The classic V8 formula was still there, but performance had to step up to compete with modern European and American powerhouses. That's exactly what Ford Performance Vehicles did with the 2003 FPV-GTP, turning the legendary Falcon GT nameplate into a high-performance monster. At its heart was the Boss 290 V8, a 5.4-litre DOHC naturally aspirated V8, producing 290 kilowatt. While American muscle cars were still using pushrod V8s, this engine featured modern technology, dual overhead cams, and 4 valves per cylinder, giving it a smooth power band and brutal acceleration. Power was sent to the rear wheels with a 6-speed manual transmission, making it a proper driver's car. The GTP could sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 5.7 seconds, making it one of the fastest 4-door sedans of its time. But what made the GTP special wasn't just raw speed, it was the handling and braking package. FPV equipped it with a Brembo performance brakes for insane stopping power, combined with sports-tuned suspension for precise handling, They did not stop there though. Upgraded the interior with premium leather seats and FPV badging, and bold styling with a muscular body kit and aggressive stance gave it the rough look. It was a muscle car that wasn't just about straight-line speed, it could also corner, stop, and handle like a proper sports sedan. With a deep, thunderous V8 roar, the FPV GTP gave Aussie muscle fans a proper modern Ford powerhouse. Today, it remains a fan favourite, with clean examples selling for over 80,000 Australian dollars. FPV proved that the Aussie Falcon could evolve into a modern performance machine. But Holden had their own response. And it wasn't just powerful, it was completely unhinged. Meet the HSV GTSR W1, Australia's most powerful muscle car ever. Number 1. 2017 HSV GTSR W1. So by 2017, Holden knew the era of Aussie muscle cars was coming to an end. But instead of going out quietly, they built something so powerful, so extreme, and so rare that it became Australia's ultimate modern muscle car, the GTSR W1. Under the bonnet sat the monstrous 6.2-litre supercharged LS9 V8, the same engine from the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. This beast pumped out 474 kilowatt, making it the most powerful Australian production car ever built. Paired with a 6-speed manual gearbox, the GTSR W1 could launch from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.2 seconds, putting it in supercar territory. But power wasn't the only thing that made the GTSR W1 terrifying. It was track-ready, straight from the factory. HSV fitted it with race-spec Super Shock suspension, massive AP racing brakes, and sticky Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tyres, giving it cornering ability that rivaled European sports cars. Holden only built 300 units, making it one of the rarest and most collectible Aussie muscle cars ever. Prices have already skyrocketed, with some selling for over 1 million Australian dollars. The HSV GTSR W1 wasn't just a car, it was Holden's final mic drop, proving that Aussie muscle could compete with the best in the world. So that's it for today's video, guys. Comment down below any cars you thought should have been mentioned. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more crazy content like these. Also make sure to watch our previous video about Australia's shocking muscle cars you didn't know the police used as well.